Welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm your host, Tristen Stawicki. Think of me as your pragmatic shaman bestie. Join in with other high-vibe, lovely people as I unravel spiritual ideas to help create change and growth in your life. I cover a variety of spiritual topics, sharing knowledge to meet you wherever you are in your journey. As a shaman, astrologer, and human design reader, I help you understand how to make informed decisions and incorporate different modalities using discernment and your own intuition. Today, you will gain powerful shamanic healing tools you can use to incorporate spiritual practices in non-traditional ways. Whether you're just beginning or need a knowledgeable best friend with the next phase of your journey, I'm here to help. Stay tuned. Musings and Modalities starts now. Hey everyone, and welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm Tristen Stawicki, and for the next 30 minutes, we are diving into bringing order to chaos, how astrology helps entrepreneurs. In this episode, I'm sharing why tapping into the birth chart of your business can transform how quickly you reach success, how you expand, and who you choose to build your team with. The level of success my business and my clients' businesses have achieved wouldn't be possible without celestial guidance. As an entrepreneur, you are doing all the jobs. You're taking on tasks you're good at, some you're not good at, right? You're learning and you're growing. You are doing what needs to be done, and every single day brings a new challenge, a new way for you to grow. Just like you buy software and take trainings and get those certifications, I want to share the most impactful tool I use in my business, astrology. My goal here is to really stop the cycle of entrepreneurs that are burning themselves out, that are hitting rock bottom with their mental state, they're hurting their health. You can be an entrepreneur and have balance in your life, and you can grow your business without struggling emotionally and mentally. And by working with cosmic energy, it's easier than ever to be in alignment with the stars. So let's dive into how astrology is the most valuable tool for entrepreneurs. When you're first creating your business, or if you're going through a refresh, a rebrand, and realignment, if you feel like you've gotten off your path, I really wanted to share 5 ways that astrology can provide that guidance and really ground you as you're making decisions. So first and foremost, it's through branding and marketing. And astrology can be used to create your brand identity and that story that your business sells overall that really feels authentic to you, that feels authentic to your business, and that resonates with the type of audiences and clients that you are aligning yourself with, that you're going after. You can also develop marketing campaigns that are aligned with astrological trends. For instance, like knowing the kind of experiences of the collective and the cycles they're going through, you can really tap into what's on people's minds and really being kind of activated in their life on a global scale, which is a huge advantage for your business. Like, it's not without thought that I very recently started kind of promoting once again the couple and compatibility readings that I had, right? We had the energy of Venus being in retrograde. People were having a lot of friction in relationships or, it was on their mind, right? Compatibility and love and companionships, partnerships was kind of top of mind for them. And so that was a beautiful way to say, hey, this is the experience that a person is having, that the collective is having. How can I really tap into that and it feel very much of the moment, and very much in alignment with who I am and what services I offer? The second way is through really that self-understanding and personal development. Um, your business is its own entity, but it is of you, right? It is something that you've created and nurtured and dreamed of and hoped for. And astrology overall gives us really deep insights into our strengths and weaknesses and natural tendencies. And you have that through your own natal birth chart. And what's really lovely is you can really start to see where your business has strengths, weaknesses, and natural tendencies, where they overlap and where there's maybe some opposition. And this self-awareness and using both your natal chart and your business birth chart, very different charts, right? Really helps entrepreneurs identify innate talents, recognize areas for growth in themselves and in their business, and really understand and develop their effective leadership styles. as you are growing your business down the line, like, are you suited to being a boss? Like, that's a real question. And some people, maybe even I would say many people aren't, right? They do really well growing their business as an entrepreneur, but they are not someone that naturally like wants to have employees. And so they hire others to really take that on so they can focus on the parts of the business that's important to them. And so as you think about all of the jobs that you have to do at a business, some you like outsource, have partnerships for different things like that. This really helps streamline as you are making those decisions and having those conversations because you know exactly, there's no guesswork. You know exactly what you're good at and where your business needs you to show up to be the most impactful. And this kind of leads into number three, which is decision making. When we know those strengths and weaknesses of ourselves and of our business, it really makes all of those endless questions. People are always asking for something, needing something. There's a form we have to fill out, right? It really makes all of that minutia a lot easier. Because as an entrepreneur, you are balancing the smallest details that are very, very tedious and also the big, grandiose strategies of like what you're trying to accomplish this quarter, this year, the next 5 years, like how you're kind of building that foundation of success. And so I really love this because we're allowed to and encouraged, right, to remove the guesswork of the purpose of your business and how it will fit into the community, in your life, in the lives of your customers. There's so much this uncovers for us that sets you up to not even have to think about it. It's just innate, you know it, it's authentic to you, it's authentic to your business, and then you can just like full focus on achieving and reaching that. Fourth is pricing. There is so much emotional turmoil wrapped up in pricing your products and your services. And often we are selling ourselves short, or we really struggle with understanding the market for our offering. Oftentimes we need to reflect on our own self-worth and how we view ourselves to heal our feelings of inadequacy and imposter syndrome. Fifth is timing and launching. Timing is crucial to success, right? It just is. That's a full statement. And we want to choose supportive and auspicious dates for launching new products and services and even your business out into the world. You can also think about like choosing which events to attend, right? The timing of those, especially if you're running a booth as a vendor. If you're launching your own in-person event, you want to make sure that the kind of transits are helpful for that. You don't want when a lot of planets are in retrograde and you might have a lot more friction and might be a lot more challenging than you were anticipating. So you really want to understand the kind of collective energy, the celestial transits that are happening as you choose specific kind of dates. Um, and you also want to see, is the energy supporting trying something new? Or is the energy asking you to revisit and refresh something that you've already launched that maybe with the second kind of launch or refresh will actually be much more successful than it was initially? I wanted to provide some kind of examples of my own business birth chart and to talk about it a little bit to kind of ground, the tactics I was discussing today. So my business is blessed with a gorgeous birth chart that I literally fell into. It wasn't me trying to like scam the energy to try to like get it perfect as I did it, right? It was very much um a random Monday that I like applied for the LLC. I just needed to get it done and I was very thankful for the birth chart that came from that. In the birth chart, it has a gorgeous grand trine and a ton of earth energy. And really, what I wanted to say about that is there's a lot of really balanced elements in my business's birth chart, and there's a lot of opportunity where I've seen like, oh, this is going to be something that I'm going to struggle with and have opportunities to really realign my own energy with. One of the things that was not a struggle was the branding. I chose the branding for Musings, which was 3 months of back and forth with an incredible designer, because I wanted those calm, really ethereal vibes that were screaming out of the birth chart. I wanted that present. My business was also created when Mercury was in retrograde. Again, not planned, just happened. And I know that energy is very important and prevalent. You see that in the frequency in which I refresh my website, rewrite my offerings. I also have a lot of Aquarian energies in the business birth chart, and that forces me to continue to innovate and to show up in new and exciting ways. The other element that's more vulnerable is when I was dreaming up my business, astrology was not part of the conversation. I thought, coach, business coach, healer, I had my Reiki certificates, was doing my shamanism training. I had not yet done my astrology mentorship, right? Astrology was something that was very personal to me that I used in my own life, but it was not, I always felt like that was for other people. That was not for me to publicly embrace or be a spokesperson for. Um, and so the reason why I wanted to share that is because your business is its own entity. It exists outside of you. And within this idea, within this concept of your business, are opportunities that are beyond your wildest imagination. And that's why it's so important for you to treat your business as separate from you and to come to it really as an equal partner on this journey for however long it chooses to work with you and be a part of your life. And the reason why I really wanted to highlight that is businesses are not forever, right? Nor should they always be. Much like relationships, partnerships, things like that, they'll have kind of a season, a time in your life. And maybe it has taken you to like learn and grow with it, and maybe it concludes in your life, whether it's sold or closed down, you start a new business, whatever that looks like. But we really want to respect that this is separate from you, so you don't wrap up your own self-worth and how your business is doing, because there will be times of feast and famine, and you really want to hold that separate from your own personal development and growth, so you're not held back by kind of limiting beliefs within that. As we think about a business growing, and as if you're someone that's been in business for many years, I want to talk about how really 4 ways, 5 ways actually. There was another way I thought of this morning. 5 ways that astrology can really help you grow beyond where you are. The first of which is building a team and hiring employees. Astrology can be used to understand the dynamics between team members. It can identify potential conflicts and how people work. It can help you understand how people work best and to create a more harmonious working environment. Now, of course, as part of the interview process, it's not, super like nice, maybe accepted at this point to ask for someone's birth chart or an understanding of them. However, I think there are ways that people present themselves, ways you can understand in an interview. You can set the intention to call in different energies into your life. We can look at all of that. Of course, if you have an astrology-based business, it's much easier to have that conversation with folks. The second way is through innovation and creativity. And really by tapping into the astrological energies associated with innovation and that energy of like trying something new, you can really unlock new approaches to business, especially when there's a time of like a lot of Aries energy, right? Or that new beginnings energy. What a beautiful way to kind of work with that energy, to say, okay, well, what can we dream up? I'm feeling supported by the universe and saying, all right, what's the next level? What are some new things we haven't tried? What am I missing? All of that is super lovely to work with. Third, we have finances and ROI, return on investment. And really thinking about, is this a company that will naturally run more lean and be more scrappy? Is that what's showing up in the birth chart? Or is this a company that's naturally more expansive, right? And money just flows back to it. It's almost, I don't want to say a problem how fast money comes back, but it's just an opportunity to understand your own ideas around money and the energy around it to make sure you don't hinder it. Because again, as its own entity, the relationship your business has to money is very different, probably than the relationship you do. And so we also want to focus on how does the astrological influences on financial markets impact your business. We really want to make informed investment decisions using the tools we have at our disposal. There are ups and downs with the market, right? There are cycles with the market. How can we see what's happening on kind of the celestial transit level and in the very pragmatic, like stock exchange level, and use both of those to make decisions? Fourth, we have networking and partnerships. That connection through community, that ability to meet that person that sets you up to have five new customers, perhaps bringing in a business partner as you grow, or you just find you can't do it all, right? We really want to use the birth chart to identify potential business partners and collaborators who are compatible with your goals and values, especially your values. Um, the Capricorn energy in me almost wants to say that a business partner is equally, if not more important than a romantic partner, but I use that in kind of a funny way just to really drive home like how important this is to the success of your business and really to your own quality of life, right? Business partnerships, even if it's just a short-term collaboration, are incredibly important, and you want to make sure that they align with your integrity and with what you envision the business being. Not all money is good money, right? Just want to be very clear about that. And the fifth way is through overcoming challenges. It's inevitable. At all stages of a business, there are going to be hiccups and catastrophes and just stuff that goes wrong, right? And astrology can really help provide guidance and validation and support during those challenging times. There are times when you're going to think about your business and want to literally burn it to the ground, and sometimes you will have to do that. I've had to do that several times. And other times you go, nope, there's good stuff here. Let me just cut out the stuff that isn't as helpful, cut out the stuff that's just like taking away from the vision, taking away from the goals, that isn't helping, and really come back into alignment. What I love about having the opportunity to use astrology in this way is that so often it takes months, if not years, to really get clarity on like what we're doing and how it works in the market, or like the incremental success we have. Sometimes it can be really challenging as a business owner to be like, I made this decision 6 months ago. We've set milestones we wanted to achieve. We've done all the planning we could for it, but it's still not really clear if this is like helping us, if this is something I should continue to invest in. All of those things come up. There's no one handing you a guidebook for how to do this and be successful at it. And you're pouring all of this emotional energy into it outside of all of this like physical energy that you're putting into your business. And so having just something to fall back on to be like, okay, let me come back to the chart. Let me just understand, like, was I working in alignment with the energies and with the chart and with the vision? If so, like, how can this not succeed? Right? What am I missing if something's out of whack? All right. So I talked a little bit about timing and launching in the first kind of segment, and I wanted to discuss that a bit more and kind of dive into this. So timing and luck is so incredibly important to this conversation. I have a dear client who has had her business, gosh, close to like 14 years, right? It's a long time. And she's found success during this time, but never as much as her counterparts. Those are those people or those businesses you're kind of keeping an eye on that have maybe had a similar journey to you or journey to your business. And in her words, which she agreed I could share, would obviously never share anything without explicit permission, is that it felt like she was working against the energy, right? And what a beautiful statement to like come to is like, it's not that she's done anything wrong or bad or made mistakes. Of course, as business owners, there's going to be a million mistakes that happens, right? But it's like she was working against the energy. She didn't have an understanding of it, so she couldn't take advantage of it. And so what ended up happening is really if there was a trend she was going to try, it was like ending right as she was spinning something up. Like there was just misalignment after misalignment kept happening for her. And she worked with a million folks. I can't imagine how much she spent with people, honestly. She worked with publicity folks and business coaches and like everyone you could think of under the sun, right? And when they were reviewing her strategies and her plans, her level of success, like they would share their feedback and knowledge and try to like level her up, right? Of course, they provided some level of value. But they couldn't pinpoint the clear reason why things weren't growing as it should. They couldn't really pinpoint why she hadn't reached many of the milestones she set out to achieve because looking at it on paper, it made sense, like that she should be more successful than she is. And I'm so honored that she, one, didn't give up, and then she chose to work with me, right? And I'm also so proud of her, so incredibly proud of her for pushing through all of this noise and all of these like the strife and challenges she had to get her business in alignment with the energy of the cosmos. And I worked with her explicitly on like working with the transits, right? Working with her birth chart, the birth chart of her business, really pinpointing the exact places in her life that were draining her energy. And I don't want to go into more detail than that to honor kind of the sacred container that is a reading, and as well as any healing work. But I just wanted to share this example because there's always going to be an element that we can tweak and find. There's always something that we can kind of drive further with the birth chart. So even if you are someone that's like had success beyond your wildest dreams, maybe the employees you're working with they aren't quite a fit, or you're not sure they're going to stay with you at the next level. Like there are just elements across the different facets of your business that are so helpful to kind of use the chart for. Timing and luck are frequently mentioned in interviews where like successful business owners are sharing their story and how they reach success. And we've all accepted that as a truth. And I bring this up because when I often bring astrology to the conversation with business owners, especially if I'm out in the community at like a real business event and there's not like a lot of woo-woo people, this is a way that I love to talk with them about this, is I talk about kind of timing and luck and how we just accept that it's valuable and also something we can't really control to a certain extent, right? And so, really thinking about how transits are just timing. It's just using the calendar for the most favorable conditions possible, looking at what planets are coming up for us, right? How we can really create and harness that luck. And I love that astrology is such a beautiful tool to really precisely kind of break the formula for timing and luck in a very like mathematical and scientific way, which is so, so cool. All right, so I wanted to give the energy report for the next few weeks. And so I wanted to talk about like what that has in store for us and, what can we kind of anticipate coming up. On May 25th, Mercury enters Gemini. And with this beautiful energy, we can expect kind of that multitasking energy of Gemini to speed up communications. We are flipping from topic to topic. We are connecting with friends and working through our like to be read list. This is the energy to explore and open your mind and embrace learning something new. And if you aren't sure how you learn best, please check out my podcast from May 8th, where I covered all of the astrological signs and how to connect with the energy of Mercury. We have a new moon in Gemini on May 26th at 11:02 p.m. Eastern, 8:02 p.m. Pacific, and it's a beautiful social moon. So really make plans with friends, stay out way too late, speak over each other when you're first catching up. Like this is the energy of giggling and inside jokes and fun. And then we have the Sun conjunct Mercury, Akisime, May 30th at 12:13 a.m. Eastern, 9:13 p.m. Pacific. And so I want to break down what that means because often I say these astrological terms and they are often hard to pronounce, impossible to spell if you haven't seen them a lot, and are, I don't want to say meaningless in our everyday language, but you're like, what is this? So I really think of it as like a golden halo around Mercury. So what you're going to want to do is, because Mercury is in the sign of Gemini, you want to check which house Gemini is in your birth chart and really review where you set intentions. And you think about this golden halo as a little bit of extra magic. So for me, Gemini is in my third house and I'm setting like my local event schedule that's very close to home. I'm finding opportunities to connect with my local neighbors. If you have something to share with your community across the board, that's kind of beautiful energy. Really pull out that megaphone. This is really the time to be a little bit extra and overzealous in sharing something before it's ready. Really build the hype. This is the energy of like, I'm feeling lime green, hot pink, gorgeous aquamarine. Like we have those hints of summer in the northern hemisphere and the heat is on. So we have this beautiful magical energy just for like a day, right? And so think about where Gemini is in your birth chart and really how to harness this. June 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer, where this energy really creates a shift towards supportive and nurturing growth. This is a time of gentle expansion and really focus on things that feel easy and aligned, especially in the sign of Cancer. So we can, with this energy, expect shifts in our family, our found family, our home, our emotions. Jupiter is expansive and generous and kind when we are in alignment, right? The highs are high, and Jupiter propels us to believe in luck and magic. This is the energy of things coming to us rather than us reaching or grabbing for them. So allow things to enter your auric field, right? Allow your own gravitational pull for things to come to you. This is a beautiful time to reflect on how you receive surprises, money, and just kind things that others do for you. So it's really that feeling of receiving your favorite flowers unexpectedly by someone close to you. All right. So as we kind of recap, I wanted to just wrap up this episode in sharing how incredibly helpful astrology is for business owners who really want to understand themselves, their companies, and what's going on around them better. If you use astrologies when you make decisions, you can really boost your chances of success and build a business that fits who you are. By working with me, you no longer have to guess what your strengths are and how they align with your business. Together, we can create strategies that fit with who you are becoming alongside your business. Through birth charts, we establish how you can show up as a leader, as an employer, and as a business partner. I can also determine where you can really should spend your time and where hiring help will be the most impactful. Entrepreneurs have a million decisions to make each day, and really let's take that guesswork out and bring in aligned, cosmically inspired guidance in. Beautiful. Well, I hope you've enjoyed bringing order to chaos, how astrology helps entrepreneurs. In this episode, we discuss the importance of using celestial transits to harness timing and luck, and how to uncover the strengths and opportunities within your business. We've discussed how to use astrology at all phases, from idea to expansion. We've unlocked deeper insights into your business and discover how to leverage celestial guidance through your business's birth chart. Book a 60-minute session with me to explore your business's astrological blueprint and other valuable tools that can help you build the business you've already dreamed of. The first 2 weeks of June are filling up as I have a limit to the number of sessions I do each week. Working with me is transformational, and this is unlike any other astrology reading you've had. Through my business coaching, I've helped business owners pick their launch dates, overhaul their branding, upgrade their customer experience on their website, and shift from one-on-one to group coaching to free up their time for big-scale expansion. Through working with me, my clients are freeing themselves from what is holding them back from the success and life they deserve. Where are your hangups as an entrepreneur? Let's see how the stars and my guidance can help you. Sessions can be booked at musingsandmodalities.com. Thank you so much for watching Musings and Modalities with me, your pragmatic shaman bestie. Tune in the second and fourth Thursdays of each month at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for more fabulous episodes. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to Musings and Modalities with me, Tristen, your pragmatic shaman bestie. For more powerful healing tools, join me every second and fourth Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. I cover a variety of topics to meet you wherever you are at on your spiritual journey. Learn techniques to work with pendulums, past life healing, astrology, and more. Please share the show and subscribe for more guidance from your pragmatic shaman bestie at musingsandmodalities.com.